would say that samurai is the job for weeaboos, and I would be correct. But it goes a bit deeper than that. Samurai.
I love samurai. My only melee. I'm not a weeb.
Is for degenerate weeps. Normally, I should go back.
So it's called. So you need help choosing a job in Final Fantasy XIV. And they're a bun, so it's a win. I don't need help choosing a job, but I do need help knowing what to level next, because I'm gonna send someone into the MSQ roulette for the next 2 weeks until they're 90. They better say that healing's the best thing in the world, and they better say that astrologians are incredibly smart, talented, and good at what they do. And that's it. That's all I want to hear from this video. So this is by Lucy Pyer. Pretty long. So get your popcorn, get snuggled up in your little blankie, and we'll watch some YouTube. Icarins, there's no rush now. We got a long video to watch. Don't worry. Right.
So Daddy P tells me you're stuck trying to pick a class. Oh, don't be scared, friend. He has eyes and ears everywhere. It's all according to his keikaku. Keikaku means plan. Anyway, he's...
Right, just make sure the this voice is I can feel the weebs hardening. Okay, this is fine. Right. Paulie, thank you for the follow. Right, let's watch.
Sent me here to help you, but between you and me, I'm probably not the absolute best person for it. I'm not an expert on every single job out there, but you know what? I have leveled almost all of them to 90. Can you guess what I got to show for it? That's right.
Amuro mount.
Possibly of the bad variety, but I'm confident that at the end of this video, you're gonna be able to look back and say, yeah, those were definitely some opinions. But first, a little disclaimer to help guide you through this video. One, in all seriousness, nothing I say can be completely objective. I mean, I could be objective by only talking about their spells and skills in depth, but I don't think that helps people choose a class. Generally, people are interested in how a job plays, not the rotational details that they'll have to learn in-game anyway. So while you can take this with a grain of salt if you want, I am right on the edge of being a filthy casual. So I think my perspective is as close to a sprout as a veteran can possibly get. Too, the visuals in this video are not a representation of the actual job rotation, but more of a skill and spell showcase. Only use the rotations you see in this video if you've gone completely feral and want to be reported for griefing. And finally, number 3, remember that the best method of choosing a job is picking the one that looks fun to you. You're not gonna like the game if you pick a job based on some stupid cringe lord said on the internet, so all other advice comes second to your own vibe check.
So yeah, basically this is a meme. She doesn't actually know how to play the jobs. But it's going to be fun, so let's watch.
I'm going to put 2 terms I'll be using up on the screen, so pause here if you want or need to read it. Otherwise, if you don't care or you already know a bit about MMOs, let's get right to it.
Well, we all know these.
This is the role you want if being insanely overpowered is your ultimate fantasy. Let me kill one common myth that stops sprouts in their tracks. Tanking in this game is not hard. Maybe it is in other games, but it's definitely not in this game.
This might be a bit of a hot take, but I honestly think tanking is the easiest role. Like, coming from WoW, where tanking was pretty fucking hard, I think tanking is the easiest role in Final Fantasy. No memes. As someone who's, like, Extreme 3, I've tanked it, healed it, DPS'd it. Bro, tanking it was the easiest. I've not done Savage, really, as a tank, so feel free to call my bluff, but I think tanking's so easy compared to the rest.
Taking aggro is as easy as turning on your tank stance and hitting one AoE. Bam! All the enemies hate you now. Tanking is extremely approachable, and it's also
love the aggro with my ass.
DPS can only afford to make 2 mistakes before dying. You can make 3 times that amount and literally shake it off. In fact,
you feel as a god as a warrior.
See that most of the time you'll be pulling several mob packs because enemies just don't deal enough damage to make you feel alive otherwise. So make sure your gear isn't broken before any duty, and keep your eye on the party to check that you're going at the pace that everyone.
Hey, look, it's the job action trailer.
Paladin is for people who like the Holy Knight aesthetic, or people like me who simply couldn't stop themselves from simping for Link as a child. It goes through a physical and magic damage phase, and as of 6.0, it has incredible self-healing built into its core rotation. They have situational utility that isn't often needed, but can be a run saver when it is.
I thought Paladin was the best thing in the world. I simped for Paladin so hard, and then I leveled Warrior, and I realized how wrong I was.
Out of all the others, they probably fit the role
Warrior's
of
so
hero tank
good.
the best. They've got strong defensive cooldowns, and they fit the aesthetic of protecting the party well with skills
Still like Paladin.
fluency,
Oh, Cleave!
intervention, cover, and passage of arms. The high-level rotation can be a bit
They do feel
tricky
good.
to
Wings
learn
is
for a
cool.
completely new player, but it starts
haven't
off
leveled
very
Dark Knight.
simple and lets you get used to skills as you level up. Just like a white knight, he starts gentle. I'd say you should pick this if you like a bit of complexity and the idea of helping the party
Paladin
when
go
needed
brr.
sounds fun for you. Warrior has an Unga.
Hold on. Are all weebs degenerate? Are they my people? I'm getting a lot of innuendos in this video, and I like it.
Boonga reputation, but real Sigmas know that going anime-style berserk and out of control is just as edgy as having your own shadow. Fitting with this aesthetic, they press a button, go crazy, and
Warrior's
this
better,
magically allows
yeah.
them to auto-crit. Game logic. It's easy
I like
to pick
Warrior,
up and
man.
learn in a short period of time, and they have insanely good self and party healing, to the point where they don't often need a healer at max level. They're also strong in the defensive cooldown department though, with plenty of options for tank buster
Yeah.
mechanics.
Home
As a
gang.
caveat, it does have the lowest DPS of all
Self-proclaimed
tanks
pure
currently, but the
cringe.
difference
Nice.
between each tank is so marginal that it doesn't change the fact that this job is very powerful. Maybe even too powerful. Don't let the warrior mains hear me say that. I'd say this is a good choice if you like being self-sufficient and you value simplicity in your gameplay. Dark Knight is the
Warriors are
misunderstood
so OP, I
teenager of
think.
the bunch with deaf parents that just don't understand him. Like Paladin, it also deals magical damage, but they have no cast times to speak of because they're afraid they'll look stupid by just standing there casting. This job
I mean,
receives
Dark
some
Knight
good
looks pretty
changes
cool.
in 6.1, making it more approachable to new players and giving veterans the strongest sense of euphoria since the release of Female Viera. If your main selling point is dark aesthetics, they've got tons of that packed into this
This
job.
looks good.
And damn, is it sick. Their rotation is similar to, but a bit more difficult than Warrior, as they have several off-global cooldowns to
Oh, no, this
handle.
looks
Unlike
good.
Warrior, though, they're not very blessed in the realm of self-healing or defensive cooldowns, with far less options
Oh.
than any other tank. In exchange for these flaws, they do currently have the best DPS of all tanks. So
Oh.
pick this job if you like to deal big damage, and the difficulty curve doesn't turn you off from tanking as a whole.
Big
To
dick
round off the tanks,
damage.
we have Gunbreaker.
I don't care about Gunbreaker. Yo, do we level Dark Knight next? Do we level Dark Knight? Dark Knight looks edgy. Dark Knight looks good. Does big damage. Yes. Tons of this is a lot of buttons to press. That's really good. Okay, I guess we gotta watch about Gunbreaker. Gunboy.
A fast-paced heavy hitter that's great for either rabbit squirrels or caffeine addicts. It has the second highest DPS of all tanks because it just presses its buttons harder than anyone else. Why didn't the other jobs think of that? Their cartridge system gives them access to special moves that are guaranteed to
Oh,
boost their
Icarus. I don't know what you're
serotonin
talking
levels.
about.
Now, I'll be honest and say I don't think this job is extremely approachable to new players, especially if it's your first time tanking. The rotation
be
is
like
fun and
Thancred.
enjoyable to learn, but can be punishing when trying to manage defensive
Dark Knight's the best
cooldowns on top
story.
of it.
Yeah, I've
Don't let that
heard.
discourage you. The base rotation is very simple in and of itself, so it's just a matter of planning your defensive cooldowns, of which Gunbreaker has plenty. Their self-healing isn't as
Good.
good as Warrior or Paladin, but it's
That's
still
bad.
noticeable and gives them considerable self-sustain. And
That's good.
also, let's be honest with ourselves, their aesthetic is absolutely banger. Choose this if you like to go sonic speed and you like a good balance between defensives and self-healing. Healers, this is the
You know the only reason I would level a Gunbreaker, like I don't really like the Gunbreaker aesthetic. Like I like more fantasy. I think the only reason I would level a Gunbreaker is so I could super belide in roulettes to troll people. I think that's the only reason I do it. Thanks, Janet. I think literally the only reason I do it.
perfect role for you if the idea of trying the Carolina Reaper fills you with ecstasy, or your main goal.
Okay. I don't want to keep pausing it. I said I thought tanking was the hardest job, right? The easiest job. I think healing, if you're not playing the right healer, healing can be like... Healing can be a ball breaker, man. Sometimes. I play Astro, which is kind of like... it just feels like you're playing with two keyboards. I hope she gives us the respect we deserve in this video.
goal in life is to solve everyone else's problems, but never your own. Once again, don't be intimidated by the support title. Much like Tank's, healing is very approachable in this game and forgiving. Heal potency is very high and the outgoing damage is weak, so you have a wide margin for error. The goal of healers is not to heal so much as it is to keep the party alive and deal as much damage of their own as they can. 6.0 made this even easier with shorter cast times, meaning they can weave on every single DPS cast. As for cons, they really don't have much in the way of a DPS rotation, so if that's important to you, I suggest rolling tank or ranged. The balancing act between healing and DPS.
How much hard? Yeah. When she said it's easy, yeah, she did say that she's most healers. She's just played most classes. She's just played casually. I think when it comes to savages, healing's really hard. Disapproved healer main noises. Yeah, I agree with that. It depends on your group. Yeah, like if your group aren't using defenses and stuff and like just dying all the time, healing's a ball ache. Yeah. Yo, Jack, how you doing?
DPSing comes together with practice, and because the game is designed to be friendly to new players, you'll have plenty of time to get the hang of things. Thank you for the follow. White Mage is the pure healer that uses water, earth, wind, and holy magic. Just kidding, you're only going to get holy and water magic at level 90. Hey, I had you there. One of its strengths
is the only healer I don't have.
This toolkit is very potent, so when things go to hell in a handbasket, White Mage can usually bring things back from the brink of death. Their spammable AoE, Holy, has a stun connected to it, which makes it convenient for dungeon runs. They also
just spam Holy 3.
Presence of mind that allows them to go even further beyond. They don't have many off-global cooldowns, but they do have the Lily system. It lets you save up to 3 strong heals at any given time, either single target or AoE. And it unlocks a Flatus Misery at the end, which is a big damage spell that gives back the DPS you lost from healing. So you're...
White Mage looks good. Is White Mage fun? Do I need to level a White Mage? I could do that next. Then I'll have all the healers. Am I gonna love White Mage? White Mage and Scholars night and day. Really?
You're basically a Karen who constantly comes around asking for a refund. I'd say you should pick this job if it's important for you to be able to heal from the get-go and you like seeing big numbers pop up on the screen. Scholar is a pet job shield healer and a walking r/I am very smart post. It requires you to keep an eye out for your fairy and properly position her so the heals can actually reach the party. But hey, in exchange for the hassle, you have a pet that can do a huge portion of the healing for you.
I'm gonna come out and say it real quick. I'm gonna apologize for what I said about Scholars. I said Scholars were shit. I called you all nerds. I called you all goobery pet people. Like I insulted Scholars for a good few months. I've been playing Scholar and I like it. So I'm sorry. Scholars are good. Scholar's good. Okay. Scholars are fun. I really like Scholar. White Mage's hit or miss, yeah? Like, so you just spam stuff, Amy? Really? Just glare? Okay. There's nothing going on. Okay. You've been playing for 8 years. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm loving Final Fantasy XIV. I played nearly a year now, so I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Summoner next. Summoner love next. I mean, maybe I'll grow to love Summoner. Here's the follow, Jano.
This is where the green DPS meme comes from, and Scholar mains are probably tired of hearing it for 8 years. Their main healing mechanic is the Ether Flow system, which keeps their MP stable and is split between healing abilities and energy drain, a DPS skill.
Hold on, sorry. What keeps your MP stable? What keeps your MP stable?
And energy drain, a DPS skill that you use if healing isn't needed. They have good utility with a crit booster and a party-wide sprint. They do have more to learn compared to White Mage, but it isn't too difficult once you get used to it. One drawback is that they aren't quite as good at recovery when things go wrong, as their base heals aren't very potent. But Scholar is still a competent job and can do a great deal when in the right hands. You should pick this job if you enjoy pet management and you want to provide utility without as much hassle as the Astrologian card system has. Astrologian.
I disagree there, where it's like, if you like pet none of that. All you do is, as soon as shit goes wrong, you just send your pet away. You just press that button that sends your pet away, take the 20% increased healing, and just do it yourself. That's how you do it. You just bin that fairy off and just do it yourself. White Mage is to Scholar what Warrior is to Gunbreaker. You think? Well, you used to have half the toolkit, right? Yeah, I feel like there's nowhere near as much pet management as there was in Shadow Bringers. Don't let things go wrong, forehead. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess that's a shield healer thing, right? Just use your shields. Don't spam heals.
Who dumped you because your Virgo vibes were too exhausting. They have a simple card management system that buffs the DPS of other party members. Connected to the cards is the seal system, which can buff their own MP regen, speed, or DPS depending
One sec.
on if you collect all three. Gotta catch 'em all, am I right? But all this utility doesn't mean they're a slouch in the healing department. They have an answer for any mechanic or fight. Need a regen?
Yes.
No worries. It's part of my kit. Need a shield? Oh sure. Let me just use my OP ability neutral sec that somehow survived the 6.0 purge. MP regen? Yeah. It's tied to my entire kit.
Macrocosmos?
Need to heal a difficult mechanic?
Macrocosmos?
Macrocosmos.
Yeah!
They sound like they have it all. And they kinda
Yes.
do. But this
Yeah, they
can be a
do.
very fast-paced
do.
job when played at a high level, particularly for the average controller user. It's doable, but definitely has a learning curve. They can be a
Oh,
bit
yeah.
clunky, but they're
Yeah, if you play on controller and you're looking to start healing, don't play Astrologian. Astrologian is like they just said, they've got a big toolkit. I think Astrologian can do everything, but it's fucking hard, man. It's so much going on. Doing a good job, thank you. There's so much going on as an Astro. Ast sucks on controllers. Yeah, the cards just add so much more busy work. New Ast opener gives me carpal tunnel. Yeah, you sound like a person who knows how to play Astrologian. Yeah, the Ast opener is nutty. You've got to play like 3 cards. You've got to play 3 cards. Your burst, hot, the dot, draw your lord. You've got to play like there's like 15 moves in your opener.
an extremely strong healer packed full of party utilities.
Light
If you
speed,
enjoy the
yeah,
challenge,
yeah,
and this is a
that
mountain
helps.
you want to climb, it's a good one to choose. Sage is the new shield healer with the most confusing name to aesthetic ratio in the entire game. My running theory is that it's just an acronym for surgeons always gank enemies. It's fast-paced and similar to Scholar. It has automatic healing built into its kit, which
That's
does require you to be continuously DPSing in order to keep it active, but hey, you're gonna be doing that on every healer anyway.
You know the most triggering thing about this video? Like, look at this. Look in the bottom right next to the Sage icon. Look at that. Look at this. See this? Look at all that materia that needs extracting.
It has tons of off-global cooldowns and even has a gap closer, making it the first healer with a unique self-movement option. Its gauge functions similarly to White Mage's Lily system and is tied
Yeah.
to its NP restore,
Negative
which
stonks,
can admittedly
yeah.
suffer a bit when no healing is needed. They don't have any
Congrats,
party
Lappin, on the
utilities, save
clear.
for their massive off-global cooldown
Yeah,
healing
it picks
kit,
up
but this
Citizen,
job is
yeah.
fun to learn anyway, mostly because lasers make my inner 9-year-old
Oh,
go
Val.
sicko mode. Pick this
Oh,
job
Val.
if you have prior experience healing in an MMO and you want slightly more DPS options than the DPS than the range classes while having decent mobility themselves with
Right.
their unique skills and slide casting. Still, they will have to sacrifice some mobility and being
I'm officially out of my depth, by the way. I got no, I don't DPS, so I'm officially in uncharted territory.
forced to cancel a cast you'd almost finished just to dodge an AoE can trigger the old gamer rage. So they benefit from good positioning and situational awareness. First off is Summoner, a pet class that has recently received a massive tummy tuck and facelift. This is the most approachable job in the entire game as the base rotation isn't complex, it goes at a moderate to slow pace. They have good
Tummy
utility
tuck.
in the form of a battle race and Searing Light, which is a party-wide small DPS buff. They're extremely mobile with the bulk of their cast being instant.
They are
and can
mobile.
reach ranged levels of mobility most of the time.
Summoners are
Expectedly, though,
mobile.
they do have the least DPS of all the casters. Unlike Scholar, their summons will handle themselves for the most part, so positioning isn't as much of a priority. They're also
Am I right in thinking on Summoner now, you don't actually have to... Your pet does nothing, right? Like, what does the carbuncle do? It doesn't do anything now on Summoner, does it? Or does it... Oh, it gives you the shield, maybe? 20% barrier. Yeah, it has the shield. Okay. Okay, it has the shield. Nothing else. He's mental support. Emotional support carbuncle. Okay. You think Summoner should go on a physical range? Really? It shields you. Okay. Kirby just chills. Yeah. It exists. Alright.
Extremely
Cool.
flashy. Are you seeing this shit? It's almost distracting. In fact, it is distracting. This is the only job that lets other players use a command to make your pet smaller. Even though this is an easy class, sometimes easy can still be pretty enjoyable.
Interfaces to your third-party
particularly when you're
tools.
just
Yeah.
starting out and learning. Pick this job if you're new to the MMO genre, or you like to focus more on boss mechanics rather than rotational mechanics.
Oh. Oh, some of the mains. Did you hear it? Oh.
Mage is the French job of the series with memes
Gotta
that
hurt.
make me very homicidal. And yes, I am slightly ashamed of
I get
that.
to the heart.
Other than
Yeah.
that, though, it's a fun job that varies between being moderate to fast-paced with a simple
I wanna
rotation
love
that's
Red
easy
Mage.
to understand at a glance. It's mobile, not as much as Summoner, but its dual cast mechanic makes every other spell instant. They have
wanna
a
love
melee
Red
combo
Mage.
with their sword, and it's pretty flashy. Actually, the entire job is
Your old
prime aesthetic
main.
real estate. They have good DPS, and their main mechanic, the white and black mana gauge, is very forgiving. It also has a ton of utility with a battle raise, a decent healing spell, a party-wide DPS buff, and a magic defense and heal boosting shield. Honestly, they don't have many flaws, though
Looks
they can be
good.
caught in a bad situation movement-wise if you don't manage your cooldowns properly. This is a great job if you want the best of both worlds on
I
the
just can't be
casting and
arsed to
melee front,
cast.
and you love being able to assist the party
Casting
in
just feels
virtually any way
long.
it could need. Black Mage is Yoshi P's golden child, and its design reflects that blatant favoritism. Their
Iron
aesthetic is
Feet.
fire, ice, thunder, and void magic, so it's great for people who are edgy but aren't quite ready to take that leap into
Yeah, it's 'cause
Reaper
half
just
time.
yet.
That's
It has the
true.
best DPS
Yeah.
of all casters and can outdo most melees, but it has no utility and the least movement options of all casters in exchange. Still, they're no slouch in that department, as triple cast stats give them
Right.
great mobility when used well. The trick of this
Yo, this ain't even a meme at this point. They just don't extract materia. They just don't extract materia. Fuck. Must be rich. Oh, you got 6 million. I can see it. I can see it. 6 million.
job is positioning so that you move as little as
Nice.
possible, because these cast times can take a hot second compared to, say, Summoner. This is where the healer adjust meme comes from. I'll be honest and say I don't think this job is super approachable to someone who's new, as all the movement cost from learning mechanics could be pretty frustrating with canceling casts left and right.
You're on
My
200 million.
suggestion is to
Holy
play this
shit.
job if you're looking for a challenge and you have prior experience with MMOs. Home on the range.
You hear that? They just told you if you play Black Mage, you're a bit of a pro. Bit of a pro. I don't think I could play Black Mage. I think standing there casting, oh, it could be fun though. I want to try it.
Distance from the boss so they're not destroyed by its massive Chad energy. This is the home of the utility and maximum mobility squad, unless you're a machinist, but they'll have to wait their
It was
turn.
good to get it
Every
right,
ranged
yeah. I
class
kinda
is
wanna
pretty
try it.
simple. If from no other perspective, then the gist of this rotation is easy to understand. It's a forgiving role for
Bard is
beginners
fun.
because you move as much as you want. Your
Bard-
main advantage is that your DPS stays the same whether the boss is 20 feet away or right on top of you.
You
and
never
can
have to
maintain
stand
that
still
even
as a
in
bard.
situations where you're forced to be on the move. Casters could never. I mean, other than Summoner. Because of your utility, everyone's happy to see you in the dungeon. And the main con is you have the lowest personal damage of all the DPS roles, but
Is that the whole point? Range DPS have more utility and less DPS? I didn't know that. I thought that was just a bard thing. Dancer, dance partner. Yeah. What's the other one? Machinist. Machinist feels like it's more selfish. Machinist. What does machinist give? Unless you're a machinist. Oh, okay. Yeah. Bard is fun in PvP and PvE. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
the ability to hop around the entire arena, who really cares, right? Bard is the OG ranged role, and it's
Bard's so
definitely
good.
not suffering an identity
Bard's
crisis
so
with its
good.
archer roots. Their gameplay is on the more fast-paced side, with lots
Yeah.
of proc-heavy mechanics that can have you double weaving here and there. They have 3 songs to maintain, and each one does something different that gives Bard a somewhat
Bard's really, really
different
fun.
playstyle
Just
than
turn
the
off your
others.
third-party
What's more, their
tools.
songs are
You'll enjoy it
constantly buffing
more.
the party. That means Bard is singing and slinging arrows and moving while dealing with mechanics. What
That's
an
fun.
icon. The rotation
Yo,
itself
Various. How
isn't
you
too
doing?
difficult. Any problems you face will probably be related to not being able to use
Joy to
procs
play, I
on time
agree.
without clipping your GCD. This is a job that starts out very easy and has a natural progression towards getting more complex. Pick this if you like your job to grow with you, so to speak, and having unique methods of party support sounds essential to you. Dancer is a role popular with cat girls who idle in Limsa Lamensa. Wonder why that is. Anyway, other than
Just got
Summoner,
called out.
this is an approachable and easy job that
All
I
y'all
highly
dancers
recommend
just
to
got
newcomers.
called
Their
out.
primary buffing mechanic is the dance partner Tether, the strongest DPS buff in the game. They can
What's the strongest range DPS? What is the strongest range DPS? Is it machinist? Machinist, yeah. Feels bad to get synced down on bard. Yeah, that's true. Kind of support DPS, but she's got stuck. Yeah, damage-wise. Yeah, damage-wise. Used to be machinist, but it might be bard. Really?
Can pick one single DPS as their partner at the beginning of an instance and not really need to worry about it after. But wait, there's more. Along with heals and a defense boosting skill, its mobility may be the best of all jobs because of its 3 dash charges, which lets it escape bad situations in a second. On top of all that, the changes in 6.1 have only made this job easier. It's
Looks
not
very
ridiculously flashy, but it's fun to look at, and it fills its dancing aesthetic well. I'd recommend it to players who want a simple DPS job that's got more utility than some.
Not for me.
Machinist is a role that wields abomination.
Machinist looks good.
Guns. It's considered the
Guns.
selfish range DPS that's meant to have the most damage in the role, while boasting much less utility compared to the others. Its pace ranges from very fast, with lots of moments where you need to weave in off-global cooldowns, to slowing down considerably when the cooldowns are running. They've got a high-tech aesthetic that stretches out to more than just guns, as they also have turrets, drills, flamethrowers, bioblasters, automaton queens, and a chainsaw. Though this job is potentially a serial killer that has an aesthetic you're not going to find anywhere else in the game. One drawback is that this job is heavily punished for bad ping, so take that into consideration if you live far from your server. It's not the most approachable job.
Have you seen this? Footage from Goddess Wolfie. My machinist is level 81. I love the honesty. I love the honesty. Yeah. Fair enough.
But it's definitely doable. I'd suggest playing this if you'd like to be highly mobile and you're not too concerned with the utility aspect of the ranged role.
Buzzsaw shotgun.
The world of the melee is a heavily populated one indeed. It's easy to see why, as they tend to look sick as fuck and have higher DPS potential than most of the jobs from other roles. It's all about the big numbers, baby. They also have higher survivability, with DPS gear that has the best defensive stats out of the bunch.
Before she starts, what's the best what's the best physical? I think it might be Samurai. I think Samurai's my favorite. What's everyone's favorite? I think Samurai makes me feel the best. Monk, Ninja, Samurai, Monk, Ninja, Reaper, Ninja. Okay, it's a good spread. I like it. I mean, fuck Dragoon. No one said Dragoon. Chuck him in the bin. No one said Dragoon. Poor Dragoon. Alright, let's watch the video.
They all have good utility, save for Samurai, which I'll talk about more later. Their rotations, on average, can be a little bit more complex, but they're still not too bad once you get the hang of it. Their main drawback is pretty easy to guess. They have to stay in melee range to maintain their DPS, and it can take time to get the exact spacing from max melee range down to a T. These classes may take a while to master, but rest assured that it's very possible, even if you're new. Dragoon is a wonderfully flashy job that's haunted by its past of being a floor tank, which isn't really deserved, because all melees spend time tanking the floor, and it doesn't deserve to be singled out like that. It has a busy rotation with lots of off-global cooldowns to weave, but the 6.1 changes have helped fix.
You know, right, I'm gonna call you out, Val, I'm sorry. Every time, as a healer, every time a melee dies because they were out of position, because they were trying to fight the boss, I just go back to like when we were Savage Raiding, and Val died and screamed into the microphone, "Not up, Tom!" I'll never forget it. Now, every time that a melee dies, I just imagine them screaming, "Not up, Tom!"
Some of the animation luck issues attached to the jumps. For a starting class, it's honestly not the most
every melee
DPS
ever,
from level 80. But if you're planning to go from level 1, it has a natural progression of ramping up the difficulty bit by bit. It has average mobility with a few jumps that can close the distance and a backwards jump that has caused some memes to occur. It has great utility with a DPS boosting tether and a party-wide hit buff at its disposal. My main complaint with this job is that they'd be better off with cone AoEs rather than line AoEs, but it's not hard to get used to. I'd pick this job if you love the aesthetic and you like the feeling of
it was hilarious though. It was so funny.
Ninja is the masochist of the DPS group that likes to be publicly humiliated for messing up its rotation. Yes, if you mess up the Mudra mechanic, the devs have decided the entire party should be able to know. So this job isn't for you if you don't like wizard bunnies. Because of that, you'll need to memorize a few different combinations for Mudra.
Do you know, I would be the most hardcore ninja player, but I can't read a single one of their abilities. I can't read a single one of their abilities. I don't know what's going on. Like, look at this. What's this? Misu, Suton, Denchiji, Raging. What's going on? What's going on, guys? Like, even their like hide isn't called hide.
But it's very easy to pick up and memorize quickly. It has
it's
a
not.
speed buff that it needs to maintain, so it's a fast-paced job. Mobility-wise,
Samurai
it's
abilities are
not
hard to
too bad.
memorize. Maybe you're right.
Shikuchi that requires you to ground target to move, which once again can be a pain for controller users, but they can also maintain a bit of uptime with their mudras, so some can be cast from afar.
Oh, you need to
This
know
job
Naruto
isn't
to
the
be a
most
good ninja.
approachable of all or anything, but it's still not too
You got a chair. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, mate.
difficult to pick up and do decent numbers with. This job is a good choice if you're okay with a bit of memorization and having slight range potential on
I
your
wanna
melee
love
sounds good
ninja.
to you. Monk proves that being loyal to Buddha isn't about how much you can meditate. It's about how hard you can punch a cat girl directly in their sinful adventurer plate. Recently, it received an overhaul this expansion, so lots of things are different from before. They have good utility in the form of brotherhood, and because it comes with a built-in speed buff, it's decently fast-paced. While they do have off-global cooldowns to deal with, they're not as reliant on them as some jobs are. They've got good mobility with 3 stacks of gap closer, which
Oh
is
yeah, ninja feels
necessary
good in
because this
PvP.
job is punished
Yes.
the most when you need to
Yes.
keep distance from the boss.
Yes.
They have high DPS.
Right, I still need to level a melee DPS. That's like the last thing I need. Which melee DPS has the least amount of positionals? Because I don't want to ever have to think about positionals. Reaper, really? Reaper. Ooh, Monk. Is that a meme? Or whatever. Just go Reaper. Oh, okay. Okay, everyone has around 2. Samurai's got 2. I've played Samurai to 83, and I don't know what their positionals are. I just stand at the back. Ninja just stand behind the enemy. Okay. Samurai. Okay.
And while this job's rotation did confuse me at first glance, I realized how simple it was during the short leveling process. If even an idiot like me can do it, you'll be fine. Pick this job if you like to do big numbers and DBZ is your favorite enemy. Reaper is the spoiled brat of the melee DPS that gets anything it wants because it's the newborn baby. But I mean, don't take me as bitter or anything. This is a really fun job to play, and everyone and their mom's dog likes it. It has a simple rotation, and I'd say it's the most approachable melee by a good bit. This is partly because it has very few off-global cooldowns compared to the other melee. It plays at a moderate speed with some fast-paced moments in their edgy avatar form, but it's all very manageable.
I feel like everyone who plays Reaper is like ride or die on Reaper.
Cool as hell. It has good mobility with Ingress and is the only melee that can cast spells from a distance. Its utility is great, with Arcane Circle buffing damage and Arcane Crest putting a potent regen on the entire party when broken. Don't ask me how a Reaper is healing people.
Feels incomplete sub 80, really.
Because of how simple and fun this job is, I highly recommend it to any new players who want to try melee, or just people who want to experience a rewarding gameplay loop. I would say that Samurai is the job for weeaboos, and I would be correct, but it goes a bit deeper than that. Samurai.
I love Samurai. My only melee. I'm not a weeb. I'm not a weeb. Oh. Love Samurai.
Is for degenerate weeps. Normally, it should go back to Ninja where they belong. Fair warning that it's also received some very controversial changes that may be reverted, so please note that the experience may be different soon. Anyway, Samurai is a moderate to fast-paced job that needs to maintain a DPS and speed buff to do maximum damage. Its set system lets it use 3 unique EI jutsus, which are all good for different situations and will always
my body pillow.
They have the Kinky Gauge, which is used for your mobility, which is a backstep and a
That's what we call it, chat. The Kinky Gauge.
gap closer. Other than that, you mostly use Kenki to spam a filler DPS move called Shinten. It's relatively approachable and easy to understand, meaning you can pull good numbers with this job without 100% knowing what you're doing. In exchange for having the best melee DPS, it has no utility to speak of, so when things go south, Samurai kinda just has to shrug. Because it will get reworked soon, I can't outright recommend it to new players until at least 6.2. But if you're determined to try it out, I'd recommend it to players who value high numbers and only want to focus on their own damage, and would rather let the rest of the party do their own thing. And we also have wait, holy shit, I already did every valid job. Man, I truly got lost in the 19 job sauce. I'm not sure if anything I said made sense, but if nothing else, I hope you're a little bit closer to jumping into Aori's yet.
Hey, it was entertaining, that's all that matters, Lucy.
Immediately chooses to play a cat girl and never thinks twice. Have a wonderful day. And may Yoshi P have mercy on your soul.
That was... Oh, Final Fantasy 14 Gone Wild. I'll watch that off stream. No, that was a really, really, really good video. A few people recommended that when it came out, and I just never got around to watching it. I wanted to save it for stream. Kinky weeb. I guess so. I guess we just got outed as a kinky weeb. Okay, right. Anyway, right. Yo, that video was good, man. I really like that video. I'm going to find more of their videos. I really like that. Good video. I really like those videos.